Welcome to the live stream of the Empowerment Club. Elvira Burns here, your coach, DJ, and the founder of the Empowerment Club, the online coaching platform where we become our best version. The objective of our live streams is to bring free coaching to the online audience and encourage them to join the Empowerment Club online program to lead a more successful, happier, and healthier life. For our new viewers, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell not to miss our next videos. We appreciate your support in helping us bring free mind coaching to as many people as possible. For our new viewers, I'm going to introduce the Empowerment Club later on. Let's get into it. Our topic today is trauma and PTSD, and we're here on the path to feeling great. I know the topic could be a little bit on the heavy side, but we have to understand what makes us not feel great, because we want to feel great, don't we? And please subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us bring free coaching to a wider audience and helping out as many people as possible. Our objectives for today. So we have a list of 7 topics: introduction, revision, what is trauma and PTSD, how trauma and PTSD affect mindset, how trauma and PTSD affect success, how trauma and PTSD affect health, and of course, how to remove trauma and PTSD. Introduction. You are here in the club, the Empowerment Club, the online side of it, the social media side of it. So welcome. And I want you to feel welcome because it is the real thing. These are the real teachings and these are the real topics that we need to have a better understanding of. We are on a mission to empower 1 million people and we believe it's possible. Join us. We have a platform globally on empowermentclub.online and we have an India platform on empowermentclub.in. This is where I will be taking care of you personally and helping you achieve incredible transformations. We are a movement to master stress and confidence, a path to feeling great. So we do want all to feel great. That's what we get up for. That's what we go to work for. That's what we get married for, and so on. Even to wear jewelry, even to wear beautiful clothes. It's all to do with feeling great, having a beautiful meal. And we should not forget this, that if we're not feeling great, everything else doesn't really cut it. So a movement to master stress and confidence is what we are trying to actually push, because unless we master stress and we get confidence, how are we going to have great feeling in life? Great feelings that are associated with getting things done, getting our goals, becoming successful in whichever way that means to you. We have to master stress and we have to become confident. This is what all of the teachings online, in the paid program, are all about. You work hard to manifest your dreams, but your stress holds you back. Now free yourself in the Empowerment Club. So stress holds us back in many ways. Obviously, if we are not confident, that is stress. And we won't speak up. We won't ask for a pay rise or for a promotion and so on. Life is stress. Stress is life. And that's a fact of life. And I have been talking about this in the past live streams. So please go to the folder on the channel called Free Lessons and brush up on the previous topics. But let's revise for all the new viewers and for ourselves, because revising this is reminding ourselves, why are we doing this? Why do we need to be happier, healthier, freer? Let's revise some key concepts. Our life is a notion of stress. Our body is built on stress response, so that's natural. Whatever our mind thinks, good or bad, has an effect on the brain. The brain generates brain waves of various speeds to support various mental activities. We can consciously, with our mind, regulate how we respond to stress. In other words, we can regulate our brainwave activity. Our mind controls itself and it also controls stress regulation through awareness. So we are interested in mind and awareness in our program because that's what controls the brain. In times of stress, in times of need, in times of emergencies, in times of problem solving, and so on. Mind is our main object of focus because confidence, mental strength, and flexibility, happiness and success, sports and business performance all depend on our mind. We train the mind to become more aware, more open, more spacious to control stress, to solve problems better, to improve creativity, boost your health and happiness, have better memory, and enhance studies. So that's how far reaching mind training is, because this is how much it can impact positively all of these areas. How to get what you want, because we are always goal oriented, no matter what. As soon as we open our eyes in the morning, we have goals. We want to brush teeth, we want to have a shower, we want to have breakfast, we want to go to work and have a successful day, and so on. How to get what you want? Set the correct goals first, clean out the emotional charge, train awareness, act from awareness, and keep going. And we have previous videos dedicated to goal setting. You can check them in the same place online on YouTube, and just go into the free lessons folder uh, playlist. Set your goals. So, yes, there is a video there. You can just go over it and start planning. You can start working right away. You don't have to sign up for our paid version, but we welcome you there because that's where you really get to work on yourself. A little bit about me for those who haven't seen me before. I am a mind coach, a TCM practitioner of acupuncture, an educator, and a teacher. I'm not a journalist, influencer, a motivational speaker. I'm actually here to train you, coach you, help you to become your best version. Motivation is just all hot wind. It's just a talk. It's nice to feel, but when it wanes, what are we actually going to do? Have we made a transformation? Have we made a personal change? No, we haven't. We're still the same. My special interest as a coach is confidence, letting go of PTSD and other fears, our today's topic, stress, limiting beliefs, goal achievements, and performance, of course. Elvira Burns, that's me, full gamut of troubleshooting and repairing. English linguistics, IT networks and desktop engineer, acupuncture and Qigong professional, mind coach, personal meditation practice and philosophy studies for over 20 years, research into mental and physical pain or stress. So I am keenly interested in all the areas that I'm teaching about and I'm talking to you about. And I am very keen on you making a transformation in all of these areas. Empowerment is when you feel great. So obviously you're in the empowerment club, and that is a virtual and in-person community eventually to help everybody feel empowered and feel great. Mind power. So that's what we are focused on. Stress makes us feel bad, disempowered. So knowing this, we need to work with stress, so empower ourselves. So I'm here to help you empower yourself. So to empower you to empower yourself. Important reactions of stress response, making breathing shallow, tightening muscles, both lead to oxygen and nutrients problems as they are meant for short-term response only. And power of mind relaxes muscles, improves breathing, and turns off excessive stress response. You come back to yourself. So why are these things significant to recall again from the previous presentations? It's because we're approaching the topic of trauma and PTSD. And although the topics seem to be quite heavy, I don't want you to be bogged down in it, because even though they feel heavy and they are actually stopping you from being yourself, however, they are cleanable, washable, and we can let them go. Thoughts and emotions can stress us out. Well, that's what it is, because they directly activate our brain's stress response system, even when there's no actual danger in front of us. And in the case of trauma and PTSD, it's already past, but it's still haunting us. Your mind doesn't wait for life to stress you out. It can generate its own stress just by how you think about life. So, if we take PTSD and trauma into account that actually occurred in physical realm, it's not just thinking. So imagine the power that it will hold on us mentally and physically. The stress that it generates is incredible. Awareness stress training we use to control stress response, and the same we use to let go of trauma and PTSD. Awareness. What is awareness? It's the function of the mind that does the knowing and the noticing. So when you are knowing that you're sitting here, you're listening to this person, me talking to you, and you hear sounds, you smell smells, you feel physical sensations, you have a taste in your mouth, and so on. And the thoughts are coming, of course. That is your awareness working on noticing and knowing what's going on. So it's actually always knowing and noticing, but you're not noticing that it is noticing. Our mind can turn off stress by activating the body's rest and repair system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and calming the brain's alarm centers, fight and flight, sympathetic nervous system. Our sympathetic nervous system is not very sympathetic to us. It's actually making us worked up so that we can run away from physical dangers. But in today's world, of course, we have a lot of physical dangers, but they're not as primary as they used to be in the past. So our mostly mental dangers is what's troubling us and turning on the stress response continuously all the time. Your success, happiness, and health fully depend on how well you can control your stress response. That's really the foundational stone of our program and everything we talk about. Because if we can control that, we become mentally flexible. And that's why we have backgrounds of palm trees all over the website, all over the program to remind us that the mental flexibility is the ability to handle stress. So as the strong wind blows, you bend, you don't break, just like the palm tree. So again, you work hard to manifest your dreams, but your stress holds you back. So remember that. So if you want to be more successful, to manifest your dreams and better at working hard, you need to manage your stress better. And you need to free yourself from what holds you back, obviously. And you're already here, part of the online social. Thank you very much. Good health is the result of continuous daily management of stress and other factors. But stress is the key. So here we have the online playlist on YouTube, the one I talked to you about, and that's called Free Lessons. So you can just go to the channel and browse through the topics. And I suggest watching from the beginning so you can build on the knowledge from the beginning, because we're kind of doing it sequentially. Life is stress, stress is life. Every day something can go wrong. Every day something can go right as well. But if we expect that it won't, we will not be so perturbed by it. Stress is life. The body needs actually physical tension to maintain its aliveness. But too much tension, too much stress also hampers its optimal workings. So optimizing ourselves between these two is where we actually stand. Mental health and physical health are indivisible. So we've got to work from both ends, definitely. And definitely, if we improve our mental health, which is our ability to handle stress, again, that means we are improving our physical health because we're turning on the rest and digest system as often as we need consciously. And that's what's going to improve the blood circulation, improve oxygen delivery, and relax the generalized tension of muscles all over the body. And that will also help us be joyful, energetic, more relaxed, more aware, more able to come up with better solutions, and so on and so forth. That is all success, all aspects of success. So, physiology is the body, mental factors are the mind. And we need to have an idea about both of them because typically, you know, we only speak about the body and the mind is left somewhere behind because no one knows what to deal with it. Not psychology, not psychotherapy, definitely. Both areas come from just ideas, just thoughts and feelings that various people had back in history, influenced by various drugs. Um, we are going back at least 2,500 years of Indian philosophies and meditation practices where the ancient Indians were getting enlightened and overcoming not just small events, but, you know, all kinds of events going back many lifetimes. And if living for many lifetimes is not part of your current mindset, that's fine. You don't have to accept that. So we're going to focus on letting go of what's here and now. And for that, we don't need to have a religion. We don't need to find differences. We are working with our mind as it is, and our body is as it is. And it's common to everyone who is a human being on this planet. That's why we use our physiology as the cornerstone here, because we need to use what we have and not work against it like we normally do. Like people normally go against the physiology. The body needs to sleep, they don't sleep. The body needs to eat, they don't eat. The body needs to drink, they don't drink, and so on. We must optimize and maximize our health and our life daily. So our life's potential depends on how we optimize ourselves, how we keep ourselves happier, healthier, younger, resilient, and so on. We need to take responsibility for our body, mind, and energy. They are the most powerful healers. There are no forces outside more powerful than our own bodies. Maybe just the various antibiotics and antiparasitics when there is an external invasion. Definitely they are stronger than our own body. But as far as our happiness, our relaxed state and aware state is concerned, that is all within oneself. The biggest point is still how well we handle stress. That is still the biggest point. And before we approach the topic, so I just want you to understand, and I want you to sort of go back in time in your life and see what has impacted you as far as losses, um, failures, or someone doing something to you, something happening to you. These are important points that are shaping your mindset and also shaping your body, because if a lot of those things happened or some of those things happened and they were very powerful, your nervous system is going to be extra sensitive. You may or may not recover from that extra sensitivity, but if you let go of the emotional charge of what made those memories stick until today, you will feel so much better, I promise. But for that, of course, you need to train. You need to join our program because that's where we can answer your questions properly and really help you. And this is where you will get the understanding in the lessons, what is happening, how it's all progressing. And once you are aware of ins and outs, you will be working slowly to chip away at your um, traumas and PTSD, and you will let them go. Trauma refers to a deeply distressing or disturbing experience that overwhelms a person's ability to cope, causing feelings of helplessness, loss of control, and a sense of threat to safety or survival. It can result from a single event, such as an accident, assault, or natural disaster, or from chronic or repeated experiences such as abuse, neglect, or prolonged stress. Trauma is not defined by the event itself, but how it affects the individual's nervous system and the perception of safety. Two people can go through the same event, yet they may be traumatized. Some of them may be traumatized while the other are not. Because trauma is subjective, physiological, and emotional response, not just an external circumstance. Definition of PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that can develop after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. It is characterized by persistent symptoms such as intrusive memories or flashbacks of the event, avoidance of reminders or triggers, negative changes in mood, beliefs, or self perception, hyperarousal, which is being easily startled, anxious, or unable to relax. PTSD reflects a nervous system stuck in survival mode where the body and mind keep reacting as if the threat is still present, even long after the danger has passed. This is a psychology slash physiology definition. And of course, they always call everything a condition, a mental health condition. But not to pass on a judgment here, and everything, of course, here is my opinion. You may or may not agree with it. Um, yes, every condition is temporary. If you don't know how to let go of this stuff, it appears to be quite long standing. And a lot of people even die with their PTSDs because they did not get access to teachings and training and methods to let go of them, to clean them up. But if you do get methods, so they shift pretty quickly and you become more free, and actually they go back to becoming a memory. So whenever you hear the word a condition, someone is telling you that you cannot change, you cannot transform, and you cannot improve. I absolutely refuse to believe that. I have had PTSDs, I have had traumas, and I have let them go, and so can you. Will you stop being uh, um, overcome by hyperarousal, being easily startled, maybe a bit on the anxious side, or not so well able to relax? Well, it varies between each person. However, if your past memories are just memories, no matter how bad they were, wouldn't you want to be free? And there is a method. And even though the industry is going to tell you, no, there isn't. If we knew one, that's what they normally say. If we knew that something can be done, we would be doing it. Well, you don't know, do you? You don't. And then you're telling everyone that it's difficult. And basically, we are customers for them. We are permanent customers for them. If we go away, that means they need to find other customers, and that's a tough job. So remember, when someone wants you as a permanent customer, that is an act of disempowering because they don't know how to help you to let go of the stuff that binds you. Therefore, for them, it's good. But for us here in the Empowerment Club, we work with the stuff that empowers. Gosh, if you couldn't let go of your stuff in 1 year, at least some of it, I would be really disappointed with myself. I really don't believe that you could just not work with yourself with all the information we have, with all the exercises of awareness training we have, and doing it daily, that you would not majorly shift. I have majorly shifted in my life doing the same stuff. Why wouldn't you? We are all human beings. Trauma is what happens inside you as a result of something overwhelming. PTSD is when those effects don't resolve naturally and instead become part of your ongoing experience, affecting your thoughts, emotions, and physical state. So, trauma is what happened to you. PTSD is all the sensations, all the invasive thoughts, and all the low confidence that you get after for years and years and years. And I have worked with people in their 70s who let go of something that happened to them in childhood. And they let it go and they were happy. And that is the success because they can move on and enjoy life. Everyone has different goals and enjoying life, having loving relationships, having good friendships, having a good vision. These are all important goals, very important. How trauma and PTSD affect the mindset. So now we actually coming to the point of how it stops us from being successful in various areas. And the first of all, something actually happens to us. We get disempowered. That's the whole point. Disempowered. When someone experiences trauma, it doesn't just leave emotional pain, it reshapes the way the mind perceives reality. You're scared that this will happen again, or something similar will happen again, or anything will happen again. Trauma changes how a person thinks, feels, and reacts to life. It rewires the brain's survival systems and often creates a mindset built around protection, fear, and control rather than openness, trust, and possibility. So the initial trauma caused a lot of tension in the body, and the brain recognized this as a protective mechanism and created neural pathways to wire up for that tension when something similar gets perceived by the mind. So once you get scared, the body is now used to generate huge amounts of tension to protect you, to help you run quickly. But the tension is mental. So you're not running anywhere. And it's very hard for the body to deal with mental stress. The body deals very well recovers very well from um, physical dangers. A car driving at you, um, animals chasing after you in the jungle, that the body can overcome. As soon as the danger passes, it can relax. But when we turn on the stress from the things that we think about, that stress doesn't dissipate. And the mechanism of stress, of turning on stress and off, turning it on and off, so then the off gets actually stuck. And that was discovered by an American physiologist. Shift from growth to survival. Trauma locks the mind into survival state. Instead of thinking, what can I create or how can I get better? The inner dialogue becomes, how can I stay safe? And you see that in sports people, in all kinds of people. They experience something traumatic, then they get stuck in fear because their perceptions of trauma are still there, their physical tension from trauma is still there and only gets worse with the time. And their performance reflects, how can I stay safe? Not how can I break through or overcome my current numbers or records, or how can I get myself out of um, the low state that I'm in. This constant scanning for danger limits creativity, curiosity, and forward movement. The mind becomes hyper vigilant, always looking for threats instead of opportunities. So you are in a state of excessive stress, especially when you try to do things, because that reminds you of the trauma, because you still have the PTSD. Um, so you are, rather than seeing what's there, you are thinking and feeling your stress, and you're on the lookout of any and all dangers that may come to you. So you have very little bandwidth for anything else. Distorted self-perception. Trauma can create powerful beliefs of unworthiness, guilt, or shame. A person may start to identify with the event, believing something is wrong with me instead of recognizing something happened to me. Well, this is at the level of thinking again. So we need to drop down into lower frequency brainwaves to be able to reconnect with trauma and PTSD and let them go. It's not going to happen at active brainwaves, which is where everybody is trying to solve their problems because no one else tells them much about it. And the knowledge is there. If you ask AI, any AI app, it will tell you, but doctors won't. Financial interest. But here, we are interested in your empowerment. Remember, we are here to empower 1 million people. So please help us spread the word, get people to sign up and for our programs, ask them to join our YouTube channel and watch the free lessons that we are creating. That would be much appreciated, because if we can empower each other, we are empowering each other rather than disempowering, because there's plenty of those who will disempower us and pull us away from our true selves, from the inherent powers of the mind and body that we have. And we don't want that. We want to be powerful. We want to be successful. We want to be happy, joyful, no matter what. And we want to be flexible, and mentally resilient. So this subtle difference defines the mindset of empowerment versus helplessness. And that's what I've just spoken about. Are you empowered, or are you disempowered and helpless? So disempowered and helpless helps medical industry. Do you want to be there? If you're like me, probably not. Who wants to be a permanent patient? Who wants to be a permanent anything? You want to be free. Who wants to permanently do the same training over and over and over? Do you want to go to school again? I don't think so. So it's time we do what our movement says. Master stress so we can become empowered, successful, and pursue our life the way we see it. So if we don't make our own goals and we don't work for our goals, then somebody else will hire us to work for theirs. Loss of trust and connection. Trauma can make the world feel unsafe and people unpredictable. As a result, the mind becomes guarded, closing off emotionally. And of course, some environments in the world are more safe than others. So we do need to exercise our own wisdom and our own judgment, what happens around us. However, trauma and PTSD means even when everything is safe, we don't feel safe. Connection, which is essential for healing, becomes difficult. This isolation reinforces the belief that I'm alone in this or I can't rely on others. Well, when we clean up our mindset, when we let go of what happened, the emotional charge that was associated with it, this falls away by itself. The good thing is that our mind has inbuilt perfection, and I've spoken about this in the previous videos. We don't need to manufacture confidence. We don't need to manufacture resilience, mental stability, mental strength, and so on. They're already there, but they're obscured by things like PTSD, like other fears, anger, jealousy, pride, and so on. So if we start digging, get a big shovel and start removing the soil, we will discover the diamond of our perfection of the mind. And that's when the real fun starts to happen, when we start seeing it more and more, which means we have removed all of these layers. PTSD, the mind trapped in the past. The brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, which is the part of the brain, stays on high alert. The body keeps reacting as if the trauma is still happening. So whether it happened yesterday or the day before yesterday or 2 years ago or 50 years ago, in various degrees, it is still perceived as it's happening now, because the thinking is there and the emotional charge is there in the body. This means the mind keeps replaying the past even when the person is safe in the present. It becomes difficult to focus, plan, or imagine a better future because the nervous system is constantly being pulled backwards into survival memories. If you think about computer systems, it's like having a database that one has to go through to process something. So when you try to do something and your mind has got a database of PTSD, it has to run your process past its knowledge and say, well, this is all unsafe, even though it is. But you have this connection that's the filter that interferes, and this filter needs to be removed, taken off. Fear-based thinking patterns. PTSD reinforces catastrophic or black and white thinking, assuming the worst, feeling powerless, or expecting harm. This mindset affects decision making, relationships, and even one's sense of identity. The mind loses the flexibility and becomes rigid, defensive, and protective. And you can reflect on what happened to you in life. And you can see all of this. So, seeing this is very important because understanding the beast, understanding the problem, is actually what's going to help you be more rational and logical with it, but it's not going to help you on the emotional side because unless you learn the techniques, you practice them, you will not let go of it because logic does not work on emotions. Talking about your past PTSD is not going to release it. People do this for 20 years and there's zero result. You're a permanent customer. The healing mindset. Mindset. So, this is, of course, coming from psychology and physiology, the wishful thinking. Wishful thinking also still occurs at very active brainwaves, and it is not a process to let go of PTSD. But it begins with when awareness returns. So, but you need to know how to use the awareness. When a person starts to observe their patterns rather than ruled by them. But apart from observing, you need to also know how to let go. Observation alone, again, is just thinking. Through awareness training, breath, mindfulness, and compassionate self reflection, the nervous system can gradually return to balance. Well, gradually, we need to define that too. Gradually, how long? What are they telling us? 20 years? Well, some people didn't return anyway. So, what we need to know, and that's from my experience and from the experience of my teachers and many others, once you let go of your PTSD and trauma, it's a pretty much cut. It's like a cut into the next slide. It's going to be gone and you're not going to feel what you felt. And no matter how much I tell you, oh, you used to suffer so much from this event, you're not going to be able to feel it. So it's a good thing, isn't it? So then the mind shifts from fear to empowerment, from protection to participation, from survival to creation by itself. You don't even have to think that. This is where personal transformation happens, when the person realizes that trauma shaped their mindset, but it doesn't have to define it. Yes. So, first of all, this is what we're going through here. In our social media lessons, in our online free lessons, we are going through the theory that such a thing exists that you can let go and it doesn't have to define you, and that trauma may be shaping your mindset. So once you know this, then we can help you and you can sign up for our program because obviously that's the right thing to do, which is what I've done in the past. And all the research I have done over the last 20 years for myself, for people around me, for all the clients that I have helped. This is what we've been keen on. We don't want to feel bad. We want to feel great, especially when we approach the goals and the actions that we want to take. So, how can you be feeling confident if the action you want to take depends on whether you're free or not from your past trauma? What if you landed the plane badly and your management scolded you and put you on performance and so on? This is a kind of a trauma. So, knowing how to let go of it, clear it out of your mind and body, because in the body it will sit as excessive tension. So, no matter what you do with next landings, you're going to be reflecting on the last unsuccessful one. And so, you're going to be doing bad ones time after time. So, how to stop this? You have to purge it out of your mind and out of your energy system and out of your body through awareness exercises. Success. The influence of trauma and PTSD on success. That's exactly what I've been telling you. So, successful landings depend on letting go of the previous trauma. Success isn't just about skill, intelligence, or opportunity. It's about the state of mind and nervous system behind every action. Yes. Trauma and PTSD can quietly shape that inner state, influencing how a person approaches life, relationships, and goals. Anything you want to do actually will be shaped by it. Everything. Your health and everything you want to do. Trauma creates an inner ceiling. Many people with unhealed trauma unconsciously place limits on how much happiness, love, or success they allow themselves to experience. And that goes straight towards limiting beliefs. This is where a lot of them come from. Something happened, oh, I can never be the same. That's it. And you may not even notice you're thinking it. So you need first a lot of theory, which is what we do in lessons, to understand what can happen to you. So what to be aware of. So you are not in the dark. So when your knowledge is up to speed on, and this is the cutting edge stuff we're discussing here. It may sound very simple, but it's extremely profound because this is how our body works. If we work with the body, it will work with us. If we work against it, it's going to work against you. There's often a hidden belief like, I don't deserve it, or good things don't last. And we have a list of them, and you can come up with your own lists. This creates an invisible ceiling. Every time life begins to expand, the subconscious pulls back towards what feels familiar and safe, even if that means staying small. Of course, fear will block you. Multiple fears will block you on multiple levels. Fear of visibility and failure. Well, that definitely has to do with work. For trauma survivors, success can trigger fear because being seen or standing out once felt unsafe. The nervous system associates visibility with vulnerability, so they may procrastinate, self sabotage, or withdraw just when opportunities appear. There's a lot of stuff floating around everywhere. Self sabotage, procrastinating, do this and do that. Well, if you don't have PTSDs, unconscious and conscious fears within yourself, why would you procrastinate? For example, if I am confident in my skills, and I am, it's proven by my work and my studies and by years of experience, I don't need to worry about that thing. So I can put it aside. Now, emotionally, because we talked about the knowledge and skills, now we're talking about the emotional side. Okay, I've got my computer ready. I've got my presentation ready. I have my motivation for you to benefit ready and my energy ready. Why do I need to worry about who thinks what about me and whether anything looks out of order or everything is perfect? You and I are here. You're listening. I am imparting very important information that I wish I knew 20, 30 years ago. It would have made a huge difference to my life. Professionally, personally, I would have been less anxious. I would have been more successful in certain areas that were relevant at the time. However, I am successful with this topic. So all of this taken together, why would I procrastinate recording this audio only if external circumstances are stopping me from it? Maybe electricity will cut out, which happened yesterday. But unless something like that happens, I have no problem delivering this presentation to you because my motivation is telling me that I have to benefit a million people, like I said I would. And I don't have that much time left on this planet. So procrastination is not even a topic. What is procrastination? Not wanting to do something? Well, then don't do it. Then it becomes a fear. Fear has to be handled by letting go of it. Then you'll just go and do it. Just do it is how we do everything once we let go of stuff. It's not laziness. It's the body protecting itself from perceived danger. Well, not just the body. It's the body and the mind. The mind actually primarily, because you get resistance to doing something because it's fearful, but you're looking at the resistance rather than looking at its root, which is fear. So once in our paid program, you start to learn these things and you start to do exercises that will allow you to let go of all sorts of garbage, which you knew about and you didn't know about. That's the beauty of it. When we let go of stuff, we let go of it. And what we uncover is confidence, courage, and just do it way of doing. Hyper independence or people pleasing. I do everything myself or I can't be hurt again. So staying away from everyone. Yes, that's a good one. Especially if as, let's say, a small business owner, you tried somebody else's services and they were not good enough. They were not um, honest enough with you. So you will think twice about doing something. But thinking twice about choosing someone's services rather than being outright scared of doing something with someone is a different story. So the difference lies in, do you have PTSD or not? Do you have excessive traumatic memories and excessive physical tension? So if you do, then you need to let this go. Otherwise, how can you move forward? Life is about interacting with others, working with them, looking after them, helping them, and so on. People pleasing. If everyone's happy with me, I'll be safe. Well, that doesn't work. Who's going to be ever happy with you? Nobody even thinks of you. You think they think about you when you are around 20 years old, then you start to gradually discover. So by the time you arrive close to 50, you definitely know nobody thinks anything. And a lot of people actually don't have good eyesight. So even if you have a stain on your shirt, people may not even see it. Or if they do, their mind is too busy to recognize this because they're thinking about themselves most of the time. Both patterns drain energy, cause burnout, and keep success superficial rather than fulfilling. Real success comes from balance, authentic self expression, and healthy connection. Well, that's all nice. These are all psychology slogans that's nice to have. However, how do we practically get there? We got to do the work. Without doing the work daily, and I know, and my clients know that it takes a year for a meaningful transformation. That's why we built it as a 52 weeks experience. So week after week, you can have the greatest year ever. Imagine working every day on your goals, which is what I do anyway. Every day, I refocus on what I need to do, how I need to benefit, who I'm going to benefit, how am I going to prepare it, and how can I deliver it so people can actually find me and benefit from what I do, because it's going to transform their life. They're going to be happier, healthier, and more successful. That is so important. Success requires patience and the ability to tolerate uncertainty. Well, what is certain in this world? It's certain that we were born and it's certain that we're going to die. That's one big certainty, but we just don't know when. That's the biggest uncertainty, which drives everybody crazy. Nobody wants to die at any age, no matter whether they're, 100 or 20 or 50 or 70. It just doesn't enter our minds because our minds are deathless. It's the body that dies, not the mind. Don't believe anybody who says mind comes from nothing and goes back to nothing. That's just the usual people's thinking. It's not rooted in any reality, in any discovery of the mind that was done by the ancient enlightened beings. And if for now it's not part of your belief system or not part of your experience, that's totally fine. But you just have to just look at your mind honestly and think, when you worried, were you able to stop yourself from worrying? Could you kill your worry? I don't think so, unless you're good with your awareness training. Then you can. There are kill switches, but there are also ways of flying through it, like the space that you see on the screen behind the presentation and my face. The mind struggles to trust the natural unfolding of success because deep down it's still wired for survival and not creation. Well, there is no such thing as also some big lump of success. Success is a combination of various factors. Success is a combination of all kinds of small successful steps. If you just judge yourself on achieving something or not, um, this is not actually a true picture of your success. All you will end up with is blaming yourself for not being successful. Like, for example, if you had a big goal of um, selling something or getting somewhere, and you've done so many successful steps towards it, but the external circumstances or others involved with you couldn't make that happen, it doesn't mean that you are a failure as a person, as a professional. It means the goal wasn't successful, so you have to make a new one. There's no choice. That's life. We make all sorts of goals, then a war comes, or the governments lock down the world for their own purposes of enrichment, creating hostility, and making everybody sick. What are you going to do? It all still goes back to how well you manage stress. Managing stress well means also you are improving your intelligence, because intelligence is down in stress. You're not smart. You're acting in emergency mode. You got to know this. If you want to make a decision, don't make it out of fear, out of craving, out of desire, out of anything that disturbs your mind. Go, relax, calm your mind, do some awareness training exercises, and then look again. Because awareness training exercises will open your awareness and allow you to see the totality. PTSD and focus. The brain is constantly interrupted by intrusive memories or emotional flashbacks. This makes it hard to focus, plan long term, or stay motivated. Yes, life is hard. Success becomes exhausting because the person is battling both the outer world and their inner reactions. Healing restores mental clarity, emotional stability, and the ability to take consistent action. Well, for example, from my own example, I would love to swim back in the days, and I'm scared. I was scared because I nearly drowned. That caused a huge PTSD, and even a splash of water on my face would make me lock up physically so much that I would just go down in the water. So I knew that until I cleared that near drowning experience out of my mind and my physical system. I couldn't really take swimming classes. So there you go. You want to take an action, but you can't. And then you feel, oh, I can't because I'm scared. I'm scared. So yes, you can. You have to clear it. Transforming trauma into power. When awareness, compassion, and nervous system healing are applied, trauma can actually become a source of deep wisdom and strength. Well, for me, I know that I can help others with it, for sure. That's obviously my calling in this life, so to speak. When a sickness or something happens to me, I'm able to learn from it, but also with a view that others will benefit from this. Survivors often develop extraordinary resilience, empathy, and insight, the very qualities that define true leaders and creators. Healing doesn't erase the past, it rewrites its meaning. Success then flows not from proving worth, but from expressing inner wholeness. Well, we have to arrive at the inner wholeness. This is again nice, but we still have to overcome this, go beyond it, let it go, let it be the memory so it doesn't bother you. Yes, this thing happened to me. Tigers almost eaten me, for example, not just kidding. But I survived and I let it go and it doesn't bother me anymore. It's just in the past. So next time I look at the tiger, I'm not going to remember tigers trying to eat me. So this is an example, a bit of an extreme example, but it happens. Unhealed trauma limits success through fear, self doubt, and self protection. All of this is fear. All of this is turning on the fight and flight mode all the time of the nervous system. Healed trauma fuels success through awareness, purpose, and authentic strength. Because awareness, purpose, and authentic strengths are already there. So now they've been unobscured, uncovered through letting go of fear and trauma, and you're able to just do it, just express yourself without fear. When the mind shifts from surviving to creating, success stops being a chase and becomes a natural expression of who you truly are. Well, that's also very nice. But what I'd like to say is that um, when something doesn't stop you from doing or being who you are, there is not even a question of surviving or success. After all, these are just words. And what it comes down to, can you do what you want to do? Can you do it skills wise, which is a separate thing? You need to separate that. And can you do that confidence wise? And that's where we talk about the stress response and getting in touch with our authentic selves. Now, health. We've touched on the health many times, and that's important. Without good health, what are we? We won't get out of bed. How can we dream of success? So success then will be getting out of bed. The effect of trauma and PTSD on health. Trauma doesn't only live in the mind, it lives in the body. When a person experiences something overwhelming, the body reacts instantly with a stress response: fight, flight, or freeze. If the body never gets to complete that response, if it stays stuck in the survival mode, the stress becomes chronic and over time affects our every system of health. So things jam in the body, and the body starts to create the same tension in the same parts, creates the same pains over and over and over. And even when we think about something else that is related to similar fear, we start getting a similar reaction because the brain actually physically wires up neural connections for the body to deal with such situations because you've already had one. So now the brain knows what you go through. So it prepares for you to be protected next time. Nervous system dysregulation. Trauma keeps the nervous system in a state of hyper arousal or shutdown. The sympathetic nervous system, responsible for fight or flight, remains overactive, flooding the body with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. So, actually, with burnout, cortisol gets exhausted, so you don't have energy to move too much. We need cortisol, we need adrenaline. They're there for a purpose to generate energy in quick bursts, whether it's stress or not. It's there. But, foundationally, physiologically, this is a condition of stress. We needed to cross the road. We needed to get up. And we need cortisol to wake up in the morning. That's what wakes us up. So, stress hormones are not just positive or negative. They're there. They have their functions. And if we overuse them, we're going to be depleted. We have to relax. We have to rest. And the best way is to do meditation/awareness training. I prefer awareness training because then we are clear on what we are doing. Meditation can be what? Anything. But awareness training points to the fact that we're training the mind to do a certain thing, and that helps the body to do a certain thing. In contrast, PTSD can also cause hyperarousal, numbness, fatigue, and sense of disconnection, where the system shuts down to conserve energy. So you need to remember, if this happened to you, don't really over panic. This is what the body does. Your mind doesn't have hormones or anything, so it's not going to be fundamentally affected. It's affected on the surface. Mind is perfect. You can't make it better or worse, but the body is going to affect it majorly. So if you have numbness, fatigue, and sense of disconnection, you are depleted. You are overcome by physical tension. You need to conserve energy, and definitely you need to do awareness exercises so you can let go of all of that. Everything, actually. Mental, physical factors, physical tension, mental factors, they're all connected. So working with them in a specific way is going to turn on the rest and digest system, and that's going to heal you. You have to do it with your mind. First of all, you have to know this has happened, that you need to know this is still happening, and then you need to know what to do, and then you have to do it. So that's the chain of getting better, to feel great. You don't want to feel like this, do you? The whole system shuts down to conserve energy. That's survival. That's not functioning. That's not feeling great. Endocrine and immune system impact. Chronic stress from trauma suppresses immune function and disrupts hormone balance. So, how to improve the immune system in this case? You have to let go of PTSD. Cortisol imbalance can lead to weight changes, inflammation, fatigue, thyroid issues, and reduced immunity. How to improve this? Let go of PTSD. The root. Chop the root. People may get sick more easily, heal more slowly, or experience chronic conditions without realizing the root cause is unresolved stress. So the solution is resolve stress. Right, you're right. So you see, the point here of the lessons is that you get the best information about what's already there, your physiology and your mind. So you can handle you better. Digestive and gut health. The gut is highly sensitive to emotional states. When the body is in fight or flight mode, digestion slows or stops, leading to IBS, bloating, indigestion, or food sensitivities. So, what do you need to do? I'm listening. The microbiome, often called the second brain, is directly influenced by stress chemicals, which can affect both mood and energy levels. Our microbiome, it's the 16 trillion friends that we have in our body. We have a lesson on it, a separate lesson to create an awareness that they talk to our brain without us knowing it. They help us digest our food. They create good mood and all sorts of things. So we cannot ignore this population, this colony, and this um, gang that we have inside us and on our surface. Without them, we wouldn't be able to survive. We wouldn't be able to digest our food. So our body is not actually the machine that medical industry wants us to think. It's not. It is on some level, and it's not. There's 16 trillion of others that helping it survive through some kind of symbiosis, which means interaction, mutually beneficial interaction. And of course, there are those that are not. They are one-sided, their own benefit. And that's when we know that there's one-sided benefit, we know they're parasites. We're going to get rid of them. But the good guys, it's still 16 trillion of them. The second brain, the gut especially, the biggest part. But there's microbiome in the eyes, in the ears, in the genitals. And if we keep looking, we will find them everywhere, I'm sure. They have their own little groups specializing in this and that. Cardiovascular system, long-term hyperarousal increases heart rate, blood pressure, and tension in the body. So if your heart rate is constantly increased, your heart rate is increased. So you need to let go of stress, PTSD, so that decreases blood pressure. If blood pressure keeps getting elevated, it stays elevated. And tension in the body stays until you remove the root of the poisonous plants of PTSD. Over time, this contributes to hypertension, heart disease, or chronic fatigue, where your body is constantly strained. And the mind, remembering the past that it has emotional charge with through the body, keeps the body in excessive tension. Then the body has to push through all the constrictions. That's what creates hypertension, excessive tension. What we need to do is the opposite. Relax. How do we relax? We let go of PTSD. PTSD has been shown to increase the risk of cardiovascular disease due to constant physiological stress. And the reason I'm so actually elated on the subject is because I love watching people when they let go of this. Once they're free, the humor returns, the smiles return, and the whole mindset transforms. It's an incredibly joyous thing to witness. What was something like a major trouble becomes a nothing, becomes just a memory. Yes, it happens, but it's not holding me back. Muscle and pain syndromes. Unprocessed trauma often expresses itself through muscle tension and pain. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget but can't because the tension is in the body. Neck stiffness, back pain, jaw clenching, migraines. These can all be the body's way of holding unspoken memories and emotions. So you see, this is the stuff that happens to us. And we are full of PTSD of all kinds. It doesn't have to be something like a war or a concentration camp or torture or any of the real bad stuff. It can be as simple as someone said, you will never amount to anything. You will be a nothing your whole life. This is a trauma, hearing this, if you get affected by it. And if you live and work with this mindset that someone told you, like wrote on your wall behind you saying, there's your plaque, there's your sign, you will never amount to anything. So everything you do doesn't matter. You don't matter. You're not special. You're not important. This is just how it's going to be. So if you fell into this, that's how your whole life goes through. It's like putting on glasses. Okay, here's my glasses, my reading glasses. And now I'm seeing everything through the idea that I will not amount to anything. So what I need to do, take the damn thing off. Right? We are logical people, aren't we? Of course. Mental and emotional health. Well, who is mentally healthy truly? Maybe someone who is free of all of the fear. And who is that? Well, in the Enlightenment tradition, we will say the enlightened beings are, and that's what we want to be. Also, we want to be enlightened, meaning being free from fear. That's the most important part, actually, because those who are enlightened are called the fearless ones, the victors, the brave. And the Indian word for that is Veera. Veera means brave, fearless. And we all admire people who are fearless and brave. It doesn't matter, creators, musicians, artists, business people. That's what we admire. We admire fearlessness. Just do it. So that's our path. The way forward is towards fearlessness. The person may feel detached from life, struggle to feel joy, or find it difficult to concentrate and make decisions because all these things are locked up by fear. So when we remove the fear, let it go, then all that just comes out. The joy comes back. And we need to understand that also through the training, in our training, we get to see that the best patterns of brain waves are created by joy, compassion, and love. And to turn on joy and decide to be joyous is the most important decision. No matter what happens, you decide to be joyous and laugh at stuff. Healing involves restoring emotional regulation, mind body awareness, and a sense of inner safety. So that's what you get once you let go of fear. And the same body that holds trauma also holds the power to heal it. Practices like awareness training, mindful breathing, gentle movement, and self compassion help regulate the nervous system and signal safety to the body. How? By letting go of all of that. As the body relaxes, the immune system strengthens, hormones rebalance, and the mind becomes clearer. It all happens by itself once we use awareness to let go of our fears. And big fears, meaning PTSD, health naturally begins to restore itself when the body is no longer fighting an invisible war inside. Isn't that beautiful? We have self healing mechanisms in the mind and in the body, and the mind can help that much. Yay. How to remove trauma and PTSD and transform mindset, success, health. Well, we've been touching upon this all this time that we've been doing this lesson together. The war with memories. How do we win it? Trauma is conscious from something that happened to you and you remember, and unconscious, you do not remember. Something maybe happened a long time ago in a distant childhood. Never mind. The stressful sensations are still there and we can work with that, no matter where they are. They are in some kind of space of your perception, a combination of senses, the thinking, the feeling, the smelling, sensing, whatever, creates a memory. It's not just a picture. So we can work with it all. We need to clear and let go of emotional charge of past events to unblock our mind and body. They're blocks. Everything is there, don't worry. Nothing has gone away. We can remove the mental blocks through understanding your physiology and awareness training. And this is what you've had the first bit here today. Awareness, understanding your physiology. So what you need is awareness training. And it happens over time with purpose and with practice. Energy blocks are thoughts plus emotions, past memories, perceptions, beliefs, future projections. Young and old have some share of bad events in their life, significant stress that created a block, a trauma initially, and a lingering PTSD after. Our mindset is covered up by these events: childhood, parents, siblings, others. So there's a whole list. And from this list, and you can add your own, you pick stuff and you write down what is holding you back. What are the events, specific events that have happened in life that are really on your mind, that are impacting you, limiting you, disempowering you? If something makes you feel weak, not confident, with low self esteem, that's an item you need to write down so you can work with it later. Such events also create limiting beliefs. Well, of course, something bad happens and then the belief pops out. If somebody said something, let's say you will not never amount to anything, you heard it, you processed it, you took it on board, and now it's your belief. And there are all kinds of examples of limiting beliefs. We go through the list a little bit more in our online paid program, but it is what you hear everywhere. I'm not enough. I don't believe in myself. I'm not good. I'm fundamentally not good. I'm a sinner. And, just anything you can imagine. Whatever it is that you tell yourself why you can't take a step forward or be better, healthier, nicer, wiser, all of that goes to a limiting belief. A breakthrough will only happen when you overcome the mental factors that held you back. So that's your memories, concepts, beliefs, perceptions, thoughts. You achieve quiet state of mind and get the flexibility to bring back the quiet mind anytime you need. You perform unaffected by excessive physical tension from emotional charge. So if there is no emotional charge creating tension in your body and confusing you in your mind, you will be a better performer at work, at sport, or anything else. You don't overthink, just do it is how it happens. That's the beauty of it. Once the concepts have fallen away and they're not creating physical tension in the body, why would you even think anything except from just, okay, let's do this and that and talk to this person and that person and create this and that. So that's just what happens. Unmanaged stress reshapes the body deeply over time, almost like it recarves the system inside out. So, it takes some work to put yourself back, but you will. That's why we have 52 weeks to do all sorts of great things and bring ourselves back to greatness that is sitting there waiting for us to come back to it. Our program is unique in the world, cutting edge, available 24/7 with your coach, myself, vested in your improvement. Nobody else has a program like this. No, they don't. I know it. I have written a book, Mental Yoga, Transforms Stress, Anxiety into Mental Strength and Success. That was the precursor to the 52 weeks of empowerment program. And that's where you get to read my personal stories, musings, and understanding a little bit more about transformation from stress into mental strength. Here we have our favorite palm tree that signifies all sorts of good things. Apart from coconuts and coconut juice, it also means mental flexibility to me. It's my mascot. You can buy it on Amazon and enjoy reading it. I'd love your reviews. Thank you very much. We need to learn to flow like a river around obstacles and to move like a palm tree in the wind. It's not going to happen by itself. Sorry. I wish I could just give it to you. I really do, but you're going to have to work on it. And we have different playlists on our YouTube channel, so you can browse through it. I'm also an artist, so you can see me creating a few paintings. When I have more time, I will do some more, because that's also training awareness to be free, to be not fearful and Just create freely. It's an important exercise for any area in life. It helps business, it helps studies, it helps come up with solutions. Actually, it's one of the best problem solving training you can imagine. And we have the free lessons. We have a little playlist for meditation, and it will keep growing, empowering women. So you will find topics that will help you on the channel. So please follow the channel. Please subscribe, support us so we can help more people. Life is stress is life, so it's not going away. Only when you die, then all the tension drops away physically. And I would like to offer you a nice discount so you can join the program and enjoy yourself, enjoy creating the best version with my support. On the global side, you have a code, and on the India side, you have a code too. You can take a screenshot, you can go to the websites and help yourself, and I'll see you on the inside. So train your mind with us. It's a self-paced online program. The links will be in the video description. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, support our free coaching, and support of, and help us reach our goal of helping 1 million people. Thank you so much for being here. So please give us likes and turn on notification bell. And we are at the end of our lesson. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Check out links in the description below, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.